Good morning, everyone. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Shall we begin the session? In the last class, this is a module for the employability and the professional development. Same module that is continuing. So, in the last class, we have finished with the teaching and the learning methods. And I'm going to discuss with the assessment and the evaluation. So, first of all, let's take some revision of the teaching and the learning method. Now, my question is to each and everyone, why there is a need for teaching and learning methods? Why there is a different option that is used in the teaching learning method? Okay, just read out. Now, when we start with the career management and the career development, there need to be that need to meet at least two basic requirements. One is personally engaging and therefore involves an active involvement of the students. Active involvement in the sense, full-fledged involvement of the students and the use of the interactive teaching and the learning methods. And they need to make the world of work becomes real and therefore includes active involvement of the employers and where possible direct experiences of the work. So whatever the direct experience, whatever the holders, whatever the real world entity that becomes involved with the employer, that becomes involved with the employer of the entity sets. So they need to make the world of the work becomes real and therefore includes active involvement of the employer and where possible direct experiences of the work. And certainly there is a room for traditional instructional method for some elements of the program, including teaching, the academic elements of the career management theory, but such methods are unlikely to be sufficient. And in this case, we are using the teaching and the learning method that is mentioned by the AGCAS and the pedagogy for the employability group. Now, this includes a bus group discussion with the lecture group sessions along with the brainstorming methods that encourage and models an open and honest explanation of the career planning process. Then the self-audits, role play, peer review. Now, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the role play? Now, this example is given that is a recruitment personnel and the mock interview, that is okay. But if I'm talking about the role play, what is the exact meaning of the role play in terms of the industry, in terms of the organization? Yes, very good. That is how people engage with each other, coordinate with each other to make the achieved goal. That is a peer review. Then the card sort exercises. Example, devising a sequence of the decision-making activities. Then snowballing activities, which begins with the pair-based work, progressively combining to produce a larger group response. Larger group in the sense, yes, multi-group response to the challenging sets. So this role play includes a recruitment personnel, mock interview that I've already told you. Then peer review, example, the CVs of the assignments. Then snowballing activities that begins with the pair-based work, progressively combining to produce a larger group response to the challenging set. Then problem-based method, then supplementing the lectures with online peer discussion group or the tutor managed discussion group, then the self-directed learning. In addition to this one, there is a potential need for the active involvement of the students in the design and delivery of the program. This can include systematic consultation of the student through surveys or the focus group discussion and designing the programs using the immediate feedback or immediate student feedback in reviewing the program, conducting the formal career management module students after graduation to provide the long-term feedback. Then involving such graduates in the delivery of the modules to the current status. Such form of appreciation or participation can mean that the students feel that they have more of say than in other areas of their higher education studies, and this can result in an increased sense of the ownership over their personal learning, over their career development area. Now, next is how to compel or how to use a rationale for the active involvement of the employees in the design and delivery of the program. This can include involvement in the planning and the development, example, contributing to the definition of the career management skills, to the production of the course material, including the online material, to the staff development program, and to the course design. Then making the direct contribution to the program delivery, example, providing or making the inputs to the workshop, lectures and the seminar, acting as a host for the project work and the placements, and particularly when it is used with a strong area for such involvement that includes activities related to the recruitment and the selection. Example, interview simulations, application CV analysis, team building and the problem solving task. And involvement of the employers can add significantly to the relevance and the realism of these activities that can also use the credibility to the students. An employer's motivation for improvement also includes conveying a positive image of their company or organization, access to the prospective applicants. So when I convey a positive image of my organization, so that looks very good. Yeah, that is very positive point of from the organization point of view or for the company point of view. The next is that is access to the prospective applicants. Privilege will be given to the prospective applicants. Then company policies encouraging community involvement. Again, there is the same that there should be a teamwork that must be engaged fully with the community involvement. And there is, however, a tendency for the employer contribution to come mainly from large applications rather than a small or the medium-sized organization. And for such employers to be more prepared to involve themselves with vocationally oriented courses or in the higher status institutions. Then opportunities for the direct experience of the work can also contribute strongly to the career development learning. Then the Deering report also recommends that the institutions should develop opportunities to increase the extent to which the program helps students to become familiar with the work and helps them to reflect on such experiences. And three main categories of such work experience can be differentiated with each other. Now, next is what are the various ways or what are the various categories of such work experience that can be differentiated with each other? And this is defined by the Harvey. First is organized work experience as a part of the program of study. This may include the long placements on the sandwich courses, short placement on the other courses also, and a clinical or the practice program on some professional degrees that ranges from doing an additional job, actual job, through shadowing, worker job to carry out a work-based learning project. Some may be paid, some may not be paid. And it also includes a credit for the year-long placements unconnected to a program or a specific program. This program may be part-time program, this program may be term-time program, or this is for the vocational work or for voluntary work, that is the unpaid work. These professional courses, these ranges that also doing an actual job in the in carrying out a work-based learning project. The next is organized work experience external to a program of study. So one is as a part of the program of study, one is external. This may include national programs, for example, STEP, which arranges the project-based placement in small companies and not-for-profit organizations. And CRAC Insight Plus, which also recognizes and accredits the skills developed through part-time employment, voluntary work, or the student activities. This will include more local schemes of these kinds. And the ad hoc work experience also external to a program of study, which includes part-time jobs that students set up for themselves, earning rather than the learning purpose. And also it is also used for the vacation work, where most students have traditionally undertaken around 60% of the full-time students. And 40% is work time, term time, and the part-time. And do so for an average of the 10 to 14 hours per week. To these can be added work simulations within the higher education settings in the form of either simulated environment or the simulated techniques, example a business game. Now next is career development learning can also use such experiences as a resource person or as a resources for the learning. Now what can it includes? It can help it can also help the student to prepare for such experiences in the ways and which harness their development or career development learning potential. That means they will increase their learning potentials when they use the career development plannings. And it also helps the students to reflect on the career development learning that they draw from such experiences, both during and after the experience. One is after experience, one is during the experience. So this will be developed to reflect on the career development learnings. Then next is help the students to develop the evidence of the work related experiences. What is a work? How they are related with the experience and possibly proficiency that can be used in the future job applications also, future prospect also. So these experiences have been used as the resources for the learning. So it can help the students to prepare for such experiences in the ways in which harness their career management skills, help the student to reflect on the career development learning so that they draw from such experiences, and helps the student to develop the evidence of the work related experience and possibly that can be used in the future job experience. Now next is assessment in the learning. Till now, any doubts anyone? So assessment methods used for career development includes or that needs to reflect the learning goals of the program. Whatsoever the learning goals, whatsoever the evaluation assessment that we have carried out, that will be used to reflect or that will be need to reflect the learning goals. Now the methods can include the reflective essays or reports, learning logs and the portfolios, including the action plan, group or individual projects, group or individual presentations, direct assessment of the CVs, applications and interviews, then written examination. So these are the effective learning, these are the effective method that will be used for the career development learning. So one is a reflective essays of the reports, learning logs and the portfolios, group or the individual projects, group or individual presentations, direct assessment of the CVs, application interview. That means there will be a direct communication, that will be direct assessing of the curriculum vitae, applications and the interviews that is defined by the HR. Then group or the individual presentation. The presentation will be given either in the group or either individually. the group or the individual projects. Whatever the project that is mentioned, that will be given by the individual or in the group. Then the learning logs and the portfolio. Learning logs in the sense learning capabilities, learning criteria, what is the learning criteria, and the portfolios, including the action plan. Action plan means what should be done, what have to be done. The next is reflective essays or the reports. The next is written examination. Written examination includes a theory paper, pen and the paper or pen and the pencil scale paper. And where the focus is upon the personal information, so attention is focused not on the content, but on the quality of the analysis and the articulation. Some assessments may be for the formative purpose only, some may use the simple pass fail classification, and some may use the grades or the degree classification. These evaluations of the effectiveness of career development learning program in the UK are still very limited, and the review will be given in the USA of the 40 evaluation studies of the career planning process, career planning courses within the higher education institutions. Now, what is done in relation to the outputs? Example, the career thoughts, career decision making skills, career decisiveness, vocational integrity or identity. Then 88% of studies reported the positive gains and 12% reported no changes. And in relation to the outcomes, one is the output, one is the outcomes. That is persistent in the colleges, satisfaction with the field of study and the job satisfaction. And 9 of the 11 measuring such outcomes. That means 2 are left with the no changes and 9 are left with the positive changes. In the same in terms of output, 88% have a positive gains, 12% reported no changes. And the Center for Career Management Skills at the University of Reading, which makes learning outcomes related to the career management skills compulsory for all the university examples, university students, that is currently conducting a research program that is examining. Examining the subjective outcomes, self-efficiency, perceived control, adjustment, life satisfaction before, during, and after the transition into the employment. The next is impact on vocational preferences. Then objective outcomes 2 years before and after the graduation, that is entry to the graduate level, employment, earnings. Now, how the career services can help. This is the next topic. Just read out. If there is any clarification, then okay. Otherwise, start with how the career services can help. One important thing over here is that it is used within the vocational as well as the non-vocational courses. Vocational includes, for example, ITs, retail. Yes, just read out. Now, anyone any doubts till chapter number 5, that is assessment and the learning or evaluation? Any doubts, anyone? Let's move to the next part, that is the 6th part, how career services can help. So first is the changing role of the career services. So this suggests in many cases a preferred way of enhancing an institution contribution to the student employability to strengthen the career services. That means, yeah, for the future benefit, it is advisable for the career service. Although the impact will be muted if the service lacks a curriculum presence. And in the similar, Harvey also commented on this one, that is the growing recognition by the institution of the head to develop a longer term or the long-term integrating strategy for the employability that includes closer links between central services and the program-based initiatives. Central services means central government services and the program-based institutions initiative that will be occupied with the close links. So just suggest in many cases as a preferred way of enhancing an institution contribution. That is to strengthen the career services. Although the impact will be muted if the service lacks a curriculum presence. Then career services within the higher education institution vary considerably in their size, in the roles they carried out, and their vocational location within the institution. And their traditional core role has been played or has been used to help the students to manage the choices and the transition they need to make on exit from their course of study. And these services or the core activities have traditionally compromised. How it is compromised within the higher education, how it is used within the higher education, that is considerable in their size, in the roles they carried out, and the organization location, where the location is, or where the organization is located out. So services core activities have traditionally compromised. First is the individual and the group guidance, then information services, then employer liaison and the placement services. And the criticism of such services has been tended out to have more to offer to the students who already knew how to help themselves, and that in these groups of students that appear to be in most kind of the service, significantly for the lower proportions that were likely to have used such services, that may be individual service, that may be information service, that may be employer liaison and the placement services. And the latter included those who achieved poor degrees, mature activities, students from the lower socioeconomic groups, and the art students. And there has accordingly been growing pressures on the career services to target their services at such groups. And over targeting can also, however, be problem or create a problem, that is a problematic, and the alternative strategies to adopt the new approaches to serve or service the positions of all the students to position all the students. Provisions. Now, my question is what type of provision that the student needs in terms of the individual and the group guidance, information services, employer liaison, and the placement services. The first includes significantly lower proportions that were likely to have used it, and the latter includes those who have achieved the poor degrees, mature students, students from the lower socioeconomic curves, and the art students. And this will accordingly bring growing pressure on the career services to target their services at such curves. And over-targeting can, however, be problematic. Why this is problematic? Because everything is above or everything over is, we can say, the create a problem in analyzing and adopting the new provisions to service the provisions of all the students or to all the students. Then certainly the nature of the career services core work has changed dramatically, and in many of the institutions, individual and the group guidance is now increasingly based on the short intervention and the group activities rather than the long guidance interviews. And the growing use of the ICT, including the strategic use of the website and the e-guidance to extended access to the services, and great attention has been paid to the quality services, to the accreditation against the metrics quality standards.